Hola, it's your girl Amanda, and we're back for another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, today is October 4th, which means we are back from vacation. Now, if you really did listen to the last episode, I did tell y'all I was going on vacation. So, I took the entire month of September off because September, in my opinion, is the start of the fourth quarter of the year. So I was just wrapping up, things I have to do in my professional life, in my businesses, as well as my personal life. So, if you guys didn't know, or if I didn't say on the podcast, I went to California about a couple weeks ago. I just got back. So, I'm still in the swing of getting back to my normal routine after that. Um, I went to LA, and those who know me know that LA is literally one of my favorite cities to go to. This past trip was my third time going to LA. So the first time I went to LA, I was 8. And my mom took me and my brother. My brother is 7 years older than me, so he was probably about 15 or 14. And we went to LA, we went to Universal Studios, we went to Disneyland, of course, and we just went all over LA and stuff. And then the second time I went, I was 15. It was just me and my mom. I guess she took me as a gift or something, which was a cool gift if it was. I don't remember, but um, we went to LA, we went to Disneyland again. I more so remember this trip I just had of LA and the LA trip I had when I was 15. I don't remember a lot about LA when I was 8. I do remember getting sick though, because what I realized is that people in LA, their food is just prepared a little bit different than what I'm used to here in the Midwest. So I guess my poor young stomach just couldn't take it. But shout out to my best friend April. We went to for her birthday. We went to Disneyland for her birthday. We had a ball. And what I also realized is that the first 2 times I went to Disneyland, I didn't do it right. I didn't walk the entire park. We walked the entire park. So imagine my fitness numbers on my iPhone going crazy. Really nice to see. Per usual, every time I go to Disneyland, I got to meet Mickey. Met Mickey, took some pictures. Met Minnie, took some pictures. I didn't really see any other characters. I did hug Pluto, though. I did hug Pluto. What happened was we were walking in Toontown, and Pluto was walking towards us. I guess he was trying to get to somewhere. I guess Mickey and Minnie's railroad ride or something. And he was walking towards me, so I just gave him a good old Southern church hug, and I hugged him. Um, it was a good time. We were there all day too. So we arrived at Disneyland. So me and my best friend, we were staying at a hotel close to LAX, and we Ubered to Disneyland. And when I was younger, I could have sworn like Disneyland was an hour away, but when I got older, I realized Disneyland was like only 38 minutes away. Listen, I spent more time than that on the freeway on my day to day commute, okay? So it was only 38 minutes, not a far drive. It was a really relaxing drive. And most of the Ubers I had in LA were like Teslas and Priuses, so very quiet rides. What else happened? We went to the Mr. Wash Art Museum. I love art like I think it's Mr. Wash. It's modern, it's art, but it's like with a modern twist. So for example, there was an exhibit on the wall. It was like a lot of Mona Lisas, right? But there was different Mona Lisas. Mona Lisa holding a bag of Cheetos, Mona Lisa with a moustache, Mona Lisa doing all these silly things, you know. And I actually saw Beverly Hills. I went to Beverly Hills. We had dinner in Beverly Hills, which was very nice and very delicious. Shout out to the restaurant Mama Por Dias, if that's the right name for it. I see them all the time on TikTok getting down, and they were getting down when we were there too. So I really did enjoy that restaurant. I had the rolled tacos, and they were so good with black beans on the bed of it. It was really really good, really good. Really expensive, but really good. But I guess the only thing I didn't like about LA is that LA has really changed since I was 15 years old. So I understand, the economy's kind of going down. COVID kind of, ruined everything. Some parts of LA, like I went to Hollywood Boulevard, and Hollywood Boulevard really triggered my anxiety. Let's just say there's a lot of people, a lot of out of mind people, if you know what I mean. And it was too much going on. It was just too much, and I just honestly didn't really enjoy that experience. And someone ran me over with their motorized scooter. It hit my toe. I had pain on my toe last week, and then I found out that it was filled with a lot of pus and stuff. But I think that was like my least favorite part of the whole thing. But no, like Beverly Hills and Disneyland and going to Mr. Wash and all that stuff, that kind of made up for it. So I'm glad I went back to LA. My best friend, she's never been to LA. So I was like, I really have to go because I'm a West Coast girl at heart. You know, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the Chicago area. But y'all know what's crazy? And I hate that I feel like I'm jumping around. I ever since I got back, people kept telling me I belong over there. I belong on the West Coast, and I'm starting to really agree. If you guys know, like I've been really thinking about leaving Illinois because, of course, Illinois is not the best place to live. I mean, it's home, but it's not the best place because places are so expensive here and all that stuff. For me, I don't want to live in an apartment. And no disrespect to anybody who lives in apartments. I mean, I congratulations. I'm proud of you. You're on your own. You're doing your thing. But for me, I don't like apartments because I have social anxiety, and I don't like the thought of living that close to someone because I'm not a people person. And knowing you live in an apartment, you walk out the door, there's someone there, you gotta say hi, and it freaks my mind out. That's why I don't like apartments, because people keep asking me that. It's like, no, I'm not knocking anybody who does. For me, I just don't want that, and I just want to be like far, far away from people on some acreage of land. It's just me. It's just me. I'm sorry. But I've been really looking at places. I started looking in California because I want land. Land is cheap there, kind of, but then you have to add on the factors of you got to pay for a property to be built. You got to have a little house. You got to probably have like a double wide or something, and that costs. You got to have a well to put in for water and electricity. So at one point, long time ago, I wanted to move to Nevada. And I guess now, meet with my trip going to the West Coast, it's reignited. I still do want to move to Nevada at this point because one, it's the West Coast. Two, there's no state income tax, whereas here, when I do my taxes, I do have to do federal and income. So, but I really, really enjoyed my vacation. I am back. So we have about 2 more months. It's the 10 month, 2 more months, which means an estimate of 2 to 3 more episodes left of this year, which is this season, because every year I do Thompson and stuff is a full season. So 2 to 3 more episodes left in this season. So I hope that I can get a little bit more material out. I know you guys are asking, where's the YouTube videos, the quick reviews? I did kind of slip on that. There are some stuff I still need to watch, and then I'll get that prepared for you. Hopefully, I'll start getting it together on Sunday, and then just start dropping them next week. I went to see the movie Strays. I do want to see Dumb Money. I hope to go see that this weekend, so that will be one of the reviews I do. But I'm back. I'm ready to talk to y'all about some stuff. So let's get into it. So, as everyone knows, I am a big user of TikTok. I love TikTok. I don't see life without TikTok, honestly. Um, when the TikTok ban was about to happen, I knew they weren't really going to go through it because that stuff kind of died down quickly. I ain't heard nothing else about no TikTok ban since the summer. It's October now and crickets. But there's a couple on there. Ray Shonda and La Chandra Lias Lockhart. Now, I am actually a fan of this couple. When I first got on TikTok, they did pop up a lot and they made me laugh. They're an LGBTQ couple. They were very popular they had a lot of followers, probably like millions of followers. And unfortunately, their marriage has come to an end. Um, I remember seeing Ray Shonda's TikTok. And if you guys follow Ray Shonda and LaShondra, you would know that Ray Shonda sometimes jokes that, me and LaShondra are getting a divorce because of X, Y, and Z, how cheap she is, blah, blah, blah. All fun and games, right? So I'm scrolling through TikTok and I see Ray Shonda, she is holding a teddy bear. And she said, things are going to look different. LaShondra and I are no longer together. I filed for divorce. And, as fans of that couple, we would think, oh, she's joking. Probably LaShondra is out and behind the camera just waiting for her cue to come on or whatever. But after she said that opening line, I checked the comments and it was just giving her like encouragement, everything's gonna be okay. So I'm like, dang, that's real. So they must be really split up. And she said that, I'll talk about it when I'm ready. Please respect. I don't remember if she said please respect our privacy, because I don't want to just report something she didn't say. But basically, she said, I'll talk about it when I'm ready. 24 hours later, probably, I get back on TikTok, right? And she does a live probably at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Y'all know me. Why the hell would I be up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Basically, spilling all the tea of what happened. In a nutshell, LaShondra scammed her. LaShondra stole money. So let's talk about the first part. Stole money, right? LaShondra, she went to a majority of Ray Shonda's people, friends, family, all that stuff, borrowed money or, took money. It was a mess. It was a mess because one, she took money via Cash App for rent from Ray Shonda's brother. And I've never heard of people paying their landlords their rent through Cash App. I guess when you have a private landlord, you can do that. I don't know. I've never rented anything, but she was her brother, Ray Shonda's brother, was Cash Apping LaShondra's money rent. Wait, Cash Apping rent money to LaShondra. Okay. Then LaShondra was borrowing money from Ray Shonda's people, friends, family, all that stuff. There was an instance of LaShondra. That's why I keep saying it because their names kind of sound similar, and I don't want to mix them up and mess up their names. But LaShondra, she borrowed money from $1,000 from Ray Shonda's best friend. Took her a year and a half to pay it back. Suspicious. So, and then something about an Airbnb, and they a bishop staying at Airbnb. They didn't pay, but they did because they showed Ray Shonda the screenshot receipts. I guess now I know I'm not crazy because when I pay my car note or I pay anything, I screenshot it. Swear to you, I do. And it's instances like this that makes me feel better for what I do. And then there was instances of cheating that LaShondra was having her side pieces at the apartment building because she is a property manager. And I would watch her at these at the apartment building. I think they live in like Louisville, Kentucky or something. And she would be so sweet to the kids and all that stuff. And then now people are coming forward saying, it's all a lie. Like it's all a facade, basically. I say all that to say, and I probably didn't finish what I wanted to say about this because it was so freaking heavy. But not only that, Ray Shonda, yeah, she did another live with another TikTok. I don't want to disrespect her and call her a TikTok journalist, but I've never heard of her until now. She went on a live with someone from TikTok and she went into more detail about things. Um, and it was just she added on to what she was saying in the live from the night before. It was just sad. And this also goes to show that like when you're a couple, still have everything separate, like joint bank, like no joint bank accounts. Never. No. I thoroughly believe also don't give at your spouse access to any personal accounts. Like I've learned that mistake too. Luckily it wasn't as big of a mess as the Elias Lockhart's, but it's just sad because they are just a great looking couple. And it's I want to know why Ray Shonda hasn't like cried. I mean, I don't want to see her cry, but it's like I feel for her because I would just want to give her a hug. I see her on these lies. I just kind of see it in her eyes. It's so sad. It's so messed up because not only has she been bamboozled, we've all been bamboozled. Like we see this lovely couple on TikTok. They make us laugh, and you know, Ray Shonda, if you guys don't know Ray Shonda, or if you still don't know who I'm talking about, the lady who does the Ray Shonda, you, I don't know, I can't word it. Sorry. He says, you say, Rashonda, you're not a star, but you stay shining. And for that, I say thank you. Just something like that. She probably did use that example. And then she says, it's very quite simple. Let's check the board. That lady who's all over TikTok. And I know it's like burning down TikTok. I mean, when I opened my TikTok this morning, it was crazy. Like, I didn't. What I like to watch on TikTok normally is I like to watch Restock or A Day in My Life or cooking or shopping or stuff like that. I like to watch those TikToks, but my For You page for the past couple days have just been filled with LaShondra and Rayshonda. And then something else kind of bothered me, and I don't know, I'm like all over. I'm still getting back to podcasting. It's been 2 months, but when Rayshonda said that LaShondra didn't like her child, I think her name was Jayla. My niece's name is Jayla, so I should remember that. She said that she didn't like Jayla. I think in all situations that should be a deal breaker. If your partner, it doesn't matter if you're dating, married, engaged, being a side piece, whatever. If your partner does not like your child, that should be a deal breaker. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because you know what? You never know what could escalate. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I've kind of had that issue with my parents. I'm not gonna go into detail. But I've had that issue with my parents, both of them. And I mean, let's just say they're not really around me anymore, so it doesn't matter. But that it's a deal breaker. I can't believe, like, some people would legitimately bring people who don't like their kids, not your kids. I'm not talking to you. And it's sad, and it kind of like it creates a lot of damage. A lot of damage. And then you know what I also feel bad for in this situation? I feel bad for LaShondra's son, Devon. I think that's his name, Devon. I watched Devon interact with his mom and stepmom. He seemed like a really sweet kid, and I know he's that high school level where um, high schoolers have a lot of access to technology today. Because when I was in high school, we didn't have Bluetooth speakers and all that. We blew out the speakers on our phones. And we had mostly flip phones, and we barely had smartphones. Okay? I had a smartphone, my first smartphone, when I was 18, and it stopped working when I was 20. I'm just kidding. It stopped working when I was like 18. It didn't last long. And he could go to school and see these kids, and they have access, and there's way more social media than when I was their age. They got TikTok, Threads, Instagram, all that stuff, and it's played out on the internet. And you just never know what he's. Let me be careful because he is still a child, but kids are cruel. Let's just use that umbrella. Kids are cruel, and I just hope that none of them are terrorizing him, because this whole situation is pretty sad. Ray Shonda also says that LaShondra should go to jail. But let's not forget that LaShondra went to jail, and Ray Shonda didn't know until, in her marriage. I think that was messed up too. Like, if you go to jail, bro, you should really tell your partners. You should really tell your partners. Like, my ex-fiance, he ended up telling me down the line, but I been knew he went to jail because power of the internet. So yeah, but that was still messed up that she found out in her marriage and then scamming, even before they got married, because they were on Say Yes to the Dress, which I don't know still comes on TLC. But they were on there, and their wedding was just beautiful. I found their wedding video on YouTube, which I know could be like could be sad because your whole wedding video and now you're getting a divorce. But um that's my opinion on this whole thing. I will probably hear more because right after I'm done with this episode recording, I'll probably get my phone and open my TikTok, and probably there's more developments. And but let's just try to give the Elias Lockhart family their privacy. I know my review because it was a lot. It was a lot. Like I was busy, and I would check my phone every few days, and something else came up. Oh, and Lashandra's real name isn't Lashandra, or Lashandra had like a lot of evictions. But my question is, how do you have a lot of evictions and you still get apartments and places? But hey, you know what? That's not my concern. But hope everything works out well for them. And that's all I can say because it is a crazy story. What else is going on? So Christian and Blueface are back in the news for two reasons regarding their baby. She did have the baby, if I did not report that. But she was in Walmart and she was not supporting her baby's like neck and stuff. It was in a carrier that she put in front of you. And then there was another picture that came out of the baby genitals. And I was listening to TGIF with Claudia Jordan, Funky Dineva, and Al Reynolds. And they said CPS should get involved, and that I concur with. Krishan and Blueface, they're both very young. I think I'm older than Blueface by like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Very young parents. So I think that CPS should be involved. This is beyond parenting classes, in my opinion. Now, I know I'm not trying to be one of the childless people who tell people how to raise their kids, but this is obviously a red flag. So, CPS should be involved in that, parenting classes, or Christian, get away from Blueface altogether. I'm all about fathers' rights and all that stuff, but the things that I hear about Blueface doing with his children, I just sometimes wish Blueface would just sign his father rights away and let the mothers possibly find a partner who's 1,000 times better. There, I said it. I know I'm not supposed to say it, but in my eyes, that would make more sense. But I'll move on from that because again, childless person, not trying to tell y'all how to raise your kids. What else is going on? So many things going on. Oh yes, here we go. Because I'm gonna hit this in the head with y'all. Keefe D, Tupac, Orlando Anderson, Suge Knight. That's how I'm gonna start it. Okay, that's how I'm gonna start it. So for years, I'm not gonna admit this. For years, I've been watching Tupac documentaries. I've read books on Tupac. I've seen, mini series on Tupac. I've seen movies on Tupac. For years, I had this opinion that Orlando Anderson killed Tupac. And I will argue with people, yes, Orlando Anderson killed Tupac because Orlando Anderson died in a shootout in Compton. Tupac died in 1996. Orlando Anderson died in 1998. Okay, with Orlando now deceased, the case remains unsolved. Let's go forward to 2023, right? All right, so about a couple months ago, a house in Henderson, Nevada was raided. And according to files, it had the name of Orlando Anderson's daughter, I think, on the file. Long story short in that, Keefe D lived there. So when the raid happened, all we knew was the house was raided. No one said anything about it since, or it wasn't really reported. Fast forward to September 2023, where Keefe D gets arrested. Now, you guys always sit and say Vlad TV is the feds, right? I agree sometimes, but I don't agree sometimes with that saying. But in Keefe D's case, Keefe D told on himself with the assistance of Vlad TV. So now, he admitted it. This was like years ago. He went on Vlad TV and he basically admitted what happened. And then he went on Death Row Chronicles and kind of sort of gave a play by play. Let's just say Keefe D dug himself in a hole. And now he is arrested and charged with murder of Tupac. Now, does my opinion change of who killed Tupac? Yes. Um, if you like, people do this, the hand signal or the hand gesture for balance. Like you move your hands up and down. That's how my opinion is of who killed Tupac. Like I said in my last episode, maybe it was for years, we all have older siblings. It was passed off to someone. We do it all the time. When we were kids, if you had siblings, you broke a vase. I didn't break the vase. Little Timmy broke the vase and little Timmy would get in trouble. Well, in this case, it might have been Keefe D, but Orlando Anderson was taking the heat. So, balance. Balance. His arraignment is in November. What do I expect of this trial? I don't want to say because one, it was I'm 27. Pac died a year after I was born. 26 years ago. We don't know what can come out of it 26 years later. Um, it is a big case, but it's 26 years. So I want to see how this is played out. Will Keefe D get sentenced to jail and all that stuff? And then, like, I heard somebody. Oh no, well that's not Keefe D. That's someone else. That's Reggie White. He'd be on Art of Dialogue too, but I don't want to bring him up into this. So that's what happened. He's charged with murder, and I don't want to say too much because I don't know what can happen because it's been all these years. And isn't statute of limitations? Isn't that going to be involved in this as well? I hope not. I hope the Shakir family gets their justice, but it's been 26 years, but I want to see how this plays out. So, let's see what else is going on. Joe Jonas is getting a divorce. I was never a Jonas brother fan. I don't really know their names, but Joe Jonas married Sophie Turner, and she's from the United Kingdom. And she says she wanted to make her forever home in the United Kingdom. And Joe kind of signed off on it, but now they're getting a divorce, and Joe wants to keep the kids in America. I just hope, I don't know them that well, trust me, but I just hope they don't turn into Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt because they already get on my nerves, and their kids are almost grown. Because y'all gonna stretch this out, and you're gonna be in the news every day. It's just look, here's a simple solution, right? One parent could live over there and one parent could live there, and one parent could get the kids during the summer and one parent can get the kids during the school year. One parent can decide the kids can get an American education, or one parent can decide the kids can get like a British education. Work it out, because I should be a divorce lawyer. No, I shouldn't, because that would be too much stress, and I'm already stressed out. But I just hope they don't turn to Brad and Angelina. And they've been really quiet and really good for these past few years because I think they both like moved on. Or no, Brad Pitt got a girlfriend. Angelina, I don't think she dated nobody, but she's still doing her like philanthropic things and probably not dating and spending time with her daughter who goes to school down in Atlanta. So we'll see. But Joe and Sophie, y'all get on my nerves. Please. I'm not over the pits. Okay, so the car industry, something that is near and dear to my heart. I've worked in the car industry for years, probably 3 years almost. Um, And I am kind of upset to find out that the car industry is going possibly into another strike. This time it's more of a union strike regarding pay of the assemblers of the vehicles. And it's scary because when strikes like this happen, it's a domino effect, if I use that term right. Many years ago, well, not many years ago, probably like a couple years ago, even before I had this podcast, I worked in the car industry. I always worked for a GM dealership. I worked for a Nissan dealership, and it only lasted like a month. But I always worked at GM dealerships because one, I drive a GM car, so I always made sure my vehicle was taken care of at the same place I worked, which was always an awesome deal, right? Domino effect. So the first time I experienced mayhem in the car industry was the chip shortage during COVID. And when there's a chip shortage, that basically means that there's cars going to be built without chips, or at that point, it was no cars being built because there weren't the parts because they were coming over from overseas, and there was like a stall or something, and it was like a stall. They couldn't bring the parts over to build the cars, blah blah blah. So no cars were in production, which was very scary. Um, because of the chip shortage, it got hard for me to sell. Well, I worked in business development, so it got harder for me to bring people in to buy cars. Not only that, but the price of used cars did skyrocket, and they're still pretty high. Um, so basically, I kind of sort of got in trouble at work for something that wasn't really my fault until they caught on. Management, my bosses caught on, and they said, okay, domino effect. Say this again. Affected my employment. My hours got cut. I had to find employment elsewhere within the company. So when you work in business development, you make your normal base, your hourly, and you get commission. So it got harder for me for this company I worked at to get commission, like to a point where they took the commission away. So imagine if you work in the car industry and you do business development, which is a really, really, really good job. Like you can make up to $50,000 a year, and they took your commission away. That's not good. So that's how I became a secretary and all that stuff. This isn't about me. So now it's kind of happening again, but this time it's with the union. Workers are striking because they want a good, a decent amount of pay because everything, well, not decent, but a good pay to stay alive and survive. Because you look around, things are getting higher, everything's getting more expensive. So I kind of don't blame them, but because they're on strike, no cars are being built. Because they're on strike, no cars are being built, which means no cars are being sent out to dealerships to be sold. Well, part didn't happen yet. The strike just happened. But if they continue to strike as long as they do, that is the um, consequence of it, if you will. And that's very scary for a lot of dealerships. I love working in the car business. But the good thing about the car business is that you can always go find another skill. I can always go work in an office. I can't be no service advisor. I tried being a service advisor for Lincoln and Cadillac. It was like nerve wracking, and I came home. My nerves were bad because y'all know I'm not really a people person. You have to like face to face interact with people. Just not a good thing. But it's scary. It's very scary because you got to understand there's a lot of people involved in the car industry. You got your salespeople, your sales managers, GMs, uh, business development, goes down to the porters, the service advisors, the service BDCs. It's going to affect everybody if it continues. It's just the beginning of it. And I also, shout out to Jason Weaver, who is from my neighborhood, and he went to my high school, and he's like this very big movie star now, and I'm so proud of him. He did say it's so good to see a lot of people in America in the workplace, take charge and take action, because not only is the car industry being striking, you also got the AFTRA, the SAG people in the show business, they're striking. for standing up for what they believe in. So that's always a good thing to see. But sometimes it is scary because with this writer strike, like nothing's been good on TV. Like The Simpsons just came back on like last Sunday, and I'm still trying to like catch up on that. But I hope everything works out well because I think it will. The chip shortage, it kind of died down pretty quickly. I worked at another dealership; they got cars in very well. But when I worked at Nissan, you know what's crazy? Like there were no cars. Like the salesmen were getting so frustrated because they couldn't sell. They would inquire about one car, right? So, for example, we had a 2008 Audi A8. I think that's the model. Okay, so it's a 2008 Audi A8 with like 150,000 miles. You would think if it's an Audi, right? It would be spick and beautiful, well, spick and span and beautiful and all that stuff. And no, it was a mechanic special, air quotes. So when people came to see it, it was a funked up car. So, but they got frustrated because there was no like cars to flip them to because either another used car wasn't available or too high. They couldn't, their credit couldn't allow them to get something nicer like a Nissan Highlander or not a Highlander, but a like a Verse. Like, I don't know. I forgot all the models because I wasn't like, I worked for Cadillac. I worked at two different Cadillac dealerships, right? I know all the names: XT5, XT6, XT4, CT5, CT6, Lyric, Escalade, Escalade ESV. I know the names off the top of my head, right? But when I got to Nissan, I was like Versa, Leaf, Juke, even though they haven't made Juke since like 2019. Like, I don't know, but yeah, like the car industry is in a mess right now, I guess I can say, to wrap this one up. But I just hope everything really gets better for the car industry because once they wrap this up, you know, the car industry could get back to where it is. And it, like, take it from me, y'all, it's a very lucrative industry to work in. I credit the car industry for all I can do with my life. Like, I still do work in the car industry. Y'all think the writing books and podcasting? No, 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 no. I do have a full time job as well, and it allows me to do a lot of things in my lifetime, or not in my lifetime because I'm not old, but it allows me to do things in my life. Like I do have a wonderful work life balance to do this podcast and all that stuff. So yeah, I just hope they wrap it up because it'll be very scary for all of us, but we're fine now. Of course, I think that used cars can also keep us afloat because when used cars come from auctions like Manheim, and then there's people who trade in their vehicles. So yeah, yeah. Speaking of divorce, I didn't want to bring this up with Rayshonda and Lashandra, but Jeannie Mai and Jeezy are getting a divorce, and the media strikes again because they're making it seem like what it's really not. They're making it seem like Jeannie cheated. Jeezy did this. No. From what I hear, I think Funky Dineva said this on TGIF, is that they had differences. They had differences on how they wanted to raise their child. I think, in my opinion, all the other ones were irrelevant except for one. The main reason I kind of understand is always security, is that Jeannie wanted to walk their baby to school and Jeezy was like, no. And I completely get it because you look at celebrities and how they live their lives and how sometimes they just wish for privacy. Jeezy is a big rap star, a big entrepreneur, and Jeannie is famous too. And people do weird stuff to famous people. So I get it. I totally get it. Like, and then they live in Atlanta, because I think Jeannie, she's originally from like California or something, and she moved to Atlanta when she married Jeezy. So I completely understand. I mean, privacy is the number one thing. Um, I don't want to say I hope they work it out, but I get it. I get it. And that's why it's like, I'm like, why are you not saying a lot? Because I understand it's privacy. It's a privacy issue. I don't understand why people are dying to be famous these days either. Because like, I want to be famous. I want to be no. It's not very fun. Trust me. I mean, I'm not famous either, but from what I see, because like fame destroys stuff, and I think I didn't write this down on my list, but did anybody see the season premiere of the Kardashians? Now y'all know I don't really watch the Kardashians like I used to, but I watched the season premiere of the Kardashians on Hulu, and it starts with Courtney and Kim talking on the phone, and Courtney is like, "Oh, you're a narcissist witch. I hate you." Blah blah blah. If you told me that 12 years ago, well, like maybe 14 years ago, when the Kardashians first came on, you clearly see that Courtney and Kim were very close and they loved each other, but now this fame, it comes between them. That's what I think. The fame came between them. That and then Travis Barker. Now, I'm not saying Travis, you did something. No, but it's like at the same time weird because like didn't Travis want to get with Kim and all that stuff? But I don't know. But no, no, no. Let's lean towards the fame. Okay. Kardashians was a normal, loving, tight knit family. These cameras get in their face, and now it tears the family apart, and in a way, kind of make them more big headed because that they're tearing the family apart. Also, these people are building like $60 million mansions that takes years to build. Why do you need 13,000 square feet? It's just you, or you're just you and your kid, or because I know like two of them aren't together with their baby daddies or whatever. But I just never understood that. I never understood that at all. Just never understood that. Um, Winning Time, the Lakers show on HBO, it's canceled. Am I upset about it? Not really. I really enjoyed that show when it first came on, like last year, 2 years ago. It was really interesting, but then I didn't even watch the last episode because honestly, it did kind of get boring. I'm waiting for them to fast forward to like the 90s. I want to know more about the 90s Lakers because I think that's more of my time. I'm I can't talk. I think like more of Kobe and Shaq time, post Magic. That would be more of my time. But it did kind of get boring towards the end. So, but you know, if they could improve if they were at a different platform, in my opinion. And also, NSYNC is getting back together, but it's not what you think. So NSYNC did Hot Ones and all that stuff. I think they're back together for a song. Now the song is on Apple Music, right? And I listened to the song. I don't really like the song. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. So let me. I'm a real NSYNC fan, right? NSYNC broke up. I was like 7 or 8 years old, or broke up. Air quotes. They say they never did break up. They broke up. Okay. I heard the song, and I will say this: when NSYNC worked with black producers and black writers, their music just sounds so much better. If you guys don't know, Candy Burris wrote for them. Johnny Kemp. They did a cover of "Just Got Paid" by Johnny Kemp, which is one of my favorite NSYNC songs, and it has been since I was like 5 years old. Um, but this new song, it is for Trolls the movie, so it's obviously for a children's movie, and this children's movie don't care about black writers and producers and music. But I personally don't like it, but I think they should take this opportunity. As much as they say, I don't know if we're gonna do a tour, I don't know if we're gonna do an album. Take this opportunity of all the publicity you're getting, all this stuff you're doing, going on Hot Ones and eating super hot chicken wings. Take this opportunity to go to the studio and make another album, bro. And at the same time I say this, I worry because music these days, from probably like 2012 to now, doesn't really seem as my style. But you never know with NSYNC because you know Justin Timberlake. Like, I love Justin Timberlake. Every album Justin Timberlake put out, I've had at least one favorite song on there. So like the last album he put out was Man of the Woods or something. Filthy is my shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I love that song Filthy. And you know, of course, Justin Timberlake works with Timbaland, so come on, collaborate, people, collaborate. So I hope they really do like, you know, come together and say, let's do another album. Let's do a tour. Think. Hello. Hello. Is anybody in their minds? I would love to go to a concert too. I never went to an NSYNC concert because hell, I don't think NSYNC ever came to town, or like probably did come to town, but my mama didn't want to take me. I don't know, but it will be really, really nice to see them in concert. Yeah. Okay, so in creepy, creepy dark side of Hollywood news, Danny Masterson has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for rape. So if you guys don't know who Danny Masterson is, if you're like a fan of that 70s show, I never really watched that 70s show, so I don't know his name, but I am a fan of The Ranch, which is on Netflix. And basically, Rooster from The Ranch has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for rape of two women, I believe. And on top of being sentenced to prison for 30 years, his wife filed for divorce. His wife, Baiju, I don't know how to say her name, filed for divorce. So people don't act shocked, okay? Why she filed for divorce? It's quite simple. When your spouse go away for 30 years, as a woman, you're not gonna wait. Naturally, no. It take it from me, y'all. Waiting for your partner to get out of jail is very tough. It's very lonely. So she might as well just had to go and move on with her life and move on. I think they had children, so move on with your life, girl. Don't wait on no man, especially for rape. Ugh, terrible. So I think he's like 40 something, so by the time he gets out he'll be like 70 something. So girl, buy you, whatever your name is, move on. Just move on. Diddy reassigns publishing to his artists from the early 2000s. I'm on the fence about this because one, we all know how Diddy treated his artists from the early 2000s. It's like you, besides like the big wigs, air quote big wigs, like Mace and um I want to say Carl Thomas too because he still does concerts and stuff. I think that the publishing would be, I don't want to call them worthless, but they were kind of like co-artists, if I use that term right. Um Mark Curry, not the comedian, but the guy on the We Ain't Going Nowhere. He recently went on the internet and said that the publishing that he got was like not worth anything. Um, the reason why I'm on the fence about it is because okay, great, you got your publishing. Having your publishing is always great because duh, do we not listen to Prince before he passed away? But again, being the smaller artist on a big record label, it's not worth as much. And honestly, also, I think Diddy's hiding something. I don't know. Is he gonna sell Bad Boy or something? Like I don't. I have a lot of questions, and it was so sudden too. Like I just turned on the news one day. Well, not turn on the news, but I saw on the internet one day he's selling. There, he's giving the artists their publishing, or that, or I don't know nothing about publishing. Maybe it was took months to do that. Either way, it sounds suspicious, but good for them at the same time, I guess. Shirley Strawberry and her husband. It's been a lot of drama. So if you guys don't know who Shirley Strawberry is, she's the co-host of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm surprised the Steve Harvey Morning Show still comes on. Like I've been listening to Steve Harvey since I was like in fourth grade. And her husband, Shirley Strawberry's husband, Ernesto, is a creep. Overall creep. He can't be near children or animals. That's messed up. If you can't be near children and animals, like what did you do, bro? So basically, these two have like jail conversations and stuff. And Ernesto is basically to a cheater and a scammer. And there's like phone conversations between her and Ernesto, and they talking shit about everybody. And then I recently heard that like they're not legally married. They're not really husband and wife. The whole thing was a mess. Okay, I don't want to talk about nobody's relationship. It was a lot because it's on YouTube. This channel is called calls from prison. Like I think this person like purchased, or I don't know. I think federal prison calls are public domain or something. Yeah, and they posted all the phone calls, and Shirley Strawberry was saying a bunch of shit, and Ernesto was saying a bunch of shit, and it's public. It's messy. But yeah. I don't know. Why is everybody so messy now? I just why? Like all this mess. It's not even the end of the year yet. Come on now. Drew Sidora, Cousin Courtney, and Ralph. So this was when Real Housewives of Atlanta was coming on, and I did keep up with the drama. And let me tell you, Ralph is gonna get his karma because Drew filed for divorce from Ralph. Ralph embarrassed Drew. Trust me, embarrassed Drew. Drew's first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta was last season, and we all know the storyline of how Drew and how her husband went to Tampa and blah blah blah. Just my mic. He went to Tampa and all that stuff and embarrassed her, and then now this past season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, it unraveled. There was a part in an episode where Drew cried privately. Her sister Allison was like, telling Ralph off. It unraveled. Yeah, it unraveled. I don't blame her for filing for divorce. And then they kind of chased each other to the courthouse to file for divorce, which I don't understand. But then Ralph goes on and says, I love my wife. Basically begging for his wife back. Dude, you're not getting your wife back, okay? Because you embarrassed that lady. Went to Tampa with your quote unquote assistant. And yeah, she's not taking you back, bro. No. And then Cousin Courtney. So what's the connection with Cousin Courtney on Real Housewives of Atlanta? Cousin Courtney is the baby mother. If you guys don't know Groove Theory, they have like one very popular song. I'm not calling them one hit wonder, so don't do that. Tell Me with Amel LaRue and Bryce Wilson. I think that's his name. And he was the male singer. He was also in the movie Beauty Shop. He was the tall, dark, and handsome man with the cornrows. Yeah, that's her baby daddy. And she brought him around a lot for someone to not be together. That's a little weird to me. But a lot of people were saying as they watched the season go on that they were messing around with each other. I believe it. And they're using the cousin title to cover it up. It's nasty. That's nasty. And then you let cousin, air quote cousin Courtney in the house when she hosted that brunch, because it was a brunch before they went to their trip. I think they went to like Barcelona or something. Yeah. So if that's very messy if you let the woman who's allegedly sleeping with your man in your house. It's all messy and embarrassing. And a lot of women been through it. Shoot, me too. And my ex-fiance, wherever he is, I hope he gets his karma for that. But it's messy. And then on the reunion, she was trying to talk like, yeah, if you've never been in a toxic relationship, you wouldn't understand her feelings. Because I was watching a sneak peek of it on YouTube and people were saying like, oh, she's acting. No, that's what truly happens when you're in a toxic relationship. That's gaslighting. Where Ralph is saying this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen. But, Drew has the experience. Drew's seen what was going on. And she's telling her truth. Come on now. Do I think Drew will be back on Real Housewives of Atlanta next season? I think so. But I want to see Drew post-divorce, raising her kids and focusing on herself. Because she's not got a lot of good things going. She was in, I don't have Peacock. I never seen the movie. But she was in that one movie that Candy Burris filmed in her house. I forgot what it was called. But hopefully more movies and stuff comes to her. She's a very talented actress. Like, don't y'all remember she was in White Chicks? She was, Marlon Wayans' character's sister or friend. I forgot what she was, but she kind of looked like the lady too, but I think she was her sister. Yeah, so I hope more good things come to Drew. And leave that Ralph alone, please. Leave him where you found him, in the gutters. I'm just kidding. Speaking of reality TV, Erica Mena is in trouble. I mean, not deep trouble, but like, oh yeah, she did kind of get into a fight in the club, which I don't understand. Why would you get into a fight in the club? But that's neither here nor there. So Erica Mena, in a nutshell, because I know I can only film. I can't even see my face. I can only record so much for this section. Long story short, Erica Mena and Spice, who are co-stars and I guess were friends at one point on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So Erica and Spice got into an argument. Basically, it started with jabs. Spice, I also hold accountable in this situation. She did mention that a son that don't like you. So Erica Mena, she has 3 kids. She has her oldest son with Raul Condi. If you don't know that name, he was in Terror Squad with Fat Joe. Then she had her two with Safari. Okay, so um, Spice said that's why your son doesn't like you. Erica got triggered. She flipped over her table. They really didn't hit each other, but they got into back and forth. And Erica basically called her a blue monkey. Now, we all know it's common sense that if you call anybody of African descent, well, also, you know, Spice is Jamaican, but still, anybody black, I should say, for sake of argument, anybody black, if you call anybody black a monkey, automatic, direct deposit, wire transfer, technical file, racist, okay? And we also got to keep in mind, Erica Mena is not a black woman. She's Dominican and Puerto Rican. Well, she's not, okay, I'm not going to argue with y'all there. But she's not black, basically. But she's raising black kids. She married a black man. She's been with plenty of black men because also she's been with Bow Wow. She's been with Rich Dollars and all of them. So, yeah, she called her a blue monkey. And what kind of confused me was that her friends on Love and Hip Hop was kind of defending her until they found out. Well, two things confused me. They kind of defended her until they found out, and then they kind of still was on her side. I know they still was around her and stuff. But then Erica goes to Instagram and says, I've been filming with you guys for 7 months. I think she was fired because of the outrage. And also, I think it was a contract fulfillment involved too. I think Love and Hip Hop told her, fulfill your contract, but don't come back. And then they said next season. So a lot of people started speculating, oh, she's gonna be gone that season. I don't think they'll bring her back though. And I also thought that, with Love and Hip Hop going to MTV, I thought it would be more lighter and more fun. And then as the season progressed and I watched everything, it was still the same old Love and Hip Hop with all these arguments and stuff. I'm disappointed in that quote unquote rebrand because when we watch MTV, there's not a lot of fighting shows on MTV. Well, of course, since all they show is freaking ridiculousness 24/7. No, ridiculousness and catfish. That's all they show. And I just thought when they moved to MTV, it would be lighter. It looked lighter in the promo. The promo was all of them at the skating rink looking great. Jessica Rabbit, who's a sweetheart, was on there and all that stuff. And I was really pushing that, but no. Erica Mena also got fired from she does this TV show called Hush or something. She films it in LA. I don't think she's doing that anymore. But I just hope she, learned a lesson or something. But at the same time, I don't accept any apology from her because she knew you knew what you like. I don't think you think before you speak, and you called that lady a blue monkey, which is so messed up. Just so messed up. I can't trust Erica Mena. I'm sorry. And I used to like Erica Mena when she was with Bow Wow, and I used to like her when she was with Safari because they looked good. But now, and I don't even care who she's with at this point. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, let's see what else. Britney Spears and Sam Asghari. Old news, but I want to kind of get into this. Britney Spears and Sam Asghari is getting a divorce. I honestly can credit two reasons: the age gap. Brittany is 40 something. Sam Ashgardy is my age. I'm 27. And I know I'm the age gap queen, But I think it's maturity level. And I think that neither one of them had the maturity level. Sam is younger. He's trying to, get into the acting thing. Brittany, Brittany is trying to get it together, but she's not getting it together, if you know what I mean. And it didn't work. It just didn't work. And probably Brittany had some lingering things post conservatorship. Probably has some people lingering from the conservatorship, people she worked with. She was probably not taking care of herself. This lady was dancing on camera and almost showing her hoo ha, basically. And I guess he got embarrassed, or Brittany couldn't take him for, you know, he was an actor, but he wasn't. I think Brittany needs someone with a little bit more money. And I hate thinking that like that, but I think Brittany felt like she was just making it together, if you guys know what I mean. So of course it didn't work out. I mean, of course, I know y'all probably mad at the age gap queen said this, but it's maturity levels. Like for me, I've had very successful age gap relationships. I'm dating someone currently who is 13 years older than me. My last boyfriend was 12 years older than me, and they're pretty successful. It's maturity. It's all maturity. And I don't think neither one of them had it. So, Britney Spears' book is also coming out very soon. She says she'll talk about Sam in there. We'll see. Probably she'll do like Mariah Carey did and just dabbled, like lightly touched on Nick. And she'll like, when I read Mariah Carey's book, she kind of sugarcoated why her and Nick got divorced. But I understand why, because they have kids and they probably don't want the kids to know, all the dirty details. So she'll probably just pull a page out of Mariah Carey's book and just touched on it a little bit and just, move on. And before I go, I do want to wrap up. Continue prayers to Crazy Bone. You guys know I love Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm a big Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. Crazy Bone has scardosis, the same disease that Bernie Mac had, and he was in a coma for 9 days. And how about yesterday? We got an update that Crazy Bone is out of his coma. He was up and sitting in a chair. There's a photo of him on his Instagram, so he's doing much better on his way to recovery. Also, congratulations to Bone Thugs and Harmony. They did get a street sign on E99. So, East 99. If you guys don't listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony, you don't know the second album, East 1999 in St. Clair, Cleveland, Ohio. So continue prayers to them and congratulations, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Y'all need to get back together and do another album. Just saying. Also, they stole that street sign, which is messed up. And whoever did that, I hope all your draws get lit on fire because that was so wrong. And they worked so hard traveling the world and all the what they went through, like breaking up, having 5 members and 4 members and 3 members, and then everybody coming back together in like 2010. That was so much they went through. So that's not fair. Put it back. I hope they put it back, though. They better put it back. I hope so. And before I wrap up this episode, I want to send out my rest in pieces. Magoo, who is the frequent collaborator to Timbaland. My favorite song by Timbaland Magoo is Party People. Party People with Jay-Z. Classic. I don't think there was ever a video for it. I don't remember, but one of my favorites. Rest in peace, Magoo. Clarence Avant passed away as well. He was in his 90s. Done a lot for Black music. Done a lot with Quincy Jones and Jamie Foxx and all that. The Black Godfather. His documentary is on Netflix. Very good documentary. Bob Barker passed away of The Price is Right. I remember when he used to host The Price is Right because I was one of those kids that used to sit at home with grandma when, you were sick or your mom had to work and they didn't want to leave you home alone. So rest in peace, Mr. Barker. Irish from 702. Beautiful woman. She was a beautiful woman. She was on the encore with, I think her other sister, because she had a sister that passed away from, I want to say sickle cell or kidney something. But unfortunately, Irish was ill as well. And she passed away. She was very young. She was probably like 41 or something. Very, very young. And lastly, rest in peace to David McCullum. Now, the name might not sound familiar, but the sound and the character will. He was Ducky from NCIS. I grew up watching NCIS, so of course I know Ducky. And if you ever hear the next episode by Dr. Dre, David McCullum had a song. Dun, 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 dun. What's the name of that song? I got my computer right here and I don't know the Edge. Dr. Dre sampled The Edge by David McCullum. So basically, David McCullum and Dr. Dre made some great money off each other off The Edge. And that is it for me here on the Thompson and Stuff podcast. Thank y'all so much for listening, for all your support. The year is almost over. Again, I probably have 2 to 3 more episodes left in the year. I thank y'all so much for your continuous support. The YouTube videos, again, will be possibly up next week. Still getting back into the swing of things post-vacation, so hold on, y'all. And thank you for the support on YouTube as well. We got to get YouTube going. And if there's any content you want to see me do, I'm not a camera person. I'm behind the camera. I'm more so behind the camera. I don't really like showing my face. But if you want to see like hauls or shop with me's on my TikTok, let me know because I'm really open. I'm really I want to do something bigger next year to add on to the empire. So brainstorming, and I'm also writing. Got to tell you guys, I'm writing a new book. I'm creating a new character. The book is being written. I'm on the 2nd chapter. Hopefully I can get that out by early next year or later after Christmas. Who knows? But I thank y'all again for listening, and be safe out there and make sure you get your flu shot. And that's all I'm going to say. And bye.